How's it going, everybody? We are coming up on the release of a long-anticipated sequel for a game that has been in the making for 13 years. Yes, Alan Wake 1 came out all the way back in May of 2010, and really 13 and a half years later, we are finally coming up on the release of Alan Wake 2, a game that I think so many people have wanted for a long time, and it is just a short way away. In this video, I want to go over everything you need to know about the game before you spend your $50 on the game on PC or $60 on console. Also, there is a deluxe edition that is actually pretty worthwhile, and that might be the direction you want to look at. There's a lot to talk about in regards to this game. Some of it, obviously, there has been some pushback with one major aspect of the release, but we'll talk about it as we get more into this video. Now, first of all, Alan Wake 2, let's go over the general information and the story background. Now, while I would say, ideally, go play the first game, they know, Remedy knows that this is a game that's coming out 13 years after Alan Wake 1, so if you do want to jump into Alan Wake 2, that is possible, but Alan Wake is super narrative-driven that, I would highly recommend you to play the first game. You can get it super cheap, the game is pretty good, and it's not lengthy whatsoever, so you can easily complete the game before the sequel comes out. Even now, where we're, as of the recording of this video, 10 days away from the release, Alan Wake 1 is not that lengthy, even with the DLC. The background of Alan Wake 2 has a string of ritualistic murders that threatens Bright Falls, a small-town community surrounded by Pacific Northwest wilderness. Saga Anderson, who is a brand new character alongside Alan Wake, will be the two main characters of the game. Now, Saga is the new character. She is an accomplished FBI agent with a reputation for solving impossible cases, and she arrives to investigate the murders. Anderson's cases spirals into a nightmare when she discovers pages of a horror story that start to come true around her. Now, we pivot to Alan Wake, who is the other main character of the game. He is a lost writer trapped in a nightmare beyond our world. He is writing a dark story in an attempt to shape the reality around him and escape his prison. With a dark horror hunting him, Wake is trying to retain his sanity and beat the devil at his own game. Anderson and Wake are two heroes on two desperate journeys in two separate realities, connected at heart in ways that neither of them can yet understand, reflecting each other, echoing each other, and affecting the worlds around them. Fueled by the horror story, supernatural darkness invades Bright Falls, corrupting the locals and threatening the loved ones of both Anderson and Wake. Light is their weapon and their safe haven against the darkness they face. Trapped in a sinister horror story where there are only victims and monsters, can they break out to be the heroes they need to be. Throughout the game, you'll solve a deadly mystery. What begins as a small-town murder investigation rapidly spirals into a nightmarish journey, uncover the source of the supernatural darkness in a psychological horror story filled with intense suspense and unexpected twists. Obviously, one of the core elements of the game that has caused a little bit of speculation is the fact that you have two playable main characters. Some people are of the idea, hey, the game's called Alan Wake, you should play primarily as Alan Wake, but you have two different characters here, which is going to offer an interesting twist to the gameplay. Experience both Alan Wake's and Saga Anderson's stories and see events unfold from different perspectives, switch between Anderson's life or death race to solve the case and Wake's desperate attempt to rewrite his reality to escape the depths of this dark place. And you'll have two different worlds to explore. Experience two beautiful yet terrifying worlds, each with its own rich cast of characters and deadly threats. Discover majestic landscapes of the Cauldron Lake in the Pacific Northwest and the idyllic towns of Bright Falls and the watery contrasting sharply, attempting to escape the nightmarish cityscape of the dark place. And once again, mechanically, it will be seeing some resemblance to Alan Wake 1. You'll have to survive with light, with limited resources, take on powerful supernatural enemies in desperate close combat situations. It takes more than just a gun to survive. Light is the ultimate weapon in the fight against the darkness and will be your refuge when enemies threaten to overwhelm you. That is a general background of the game from the official page. Now, if you dive a little bit deeper into the gameplay, it is seeing a lot of resemblance to the original Alan Wake, and fundamentally, it is retaining all those elements, which I think is essential. Alan Wake is a game that's pretty unique in terms of stylization, and I think to pivot too much further from that would have been a little bit jarring. Now, the addition of a new character, I think, already is offering you a little bit of spice, so I think that's enough. We do see that the camera has a little bit of a focus, but at the heart of the gameplay, the light is the main focus of the gameplay, and to beat all of these enemies, you'll have to utilize the light to your advantage, and that'll allow you to beat the various enemies you will encounter throughout. Now, narratively and gameplay-wise, the game looks incredibly compelling. If you look at it from a visual standpoint, it is an incredibly impressive game. Now, also to consider, Is this game going to be 30 frames per second or 60 frames per second? Well, in fact, when this game was being developed with the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5 in mind, it was designed to be a 30 frames per second title. However, since the development of the game, Remedy has been able to implement a performance mode that will allow the frame rate to go up to 60. Now, that will be available on both PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. This will not be available on Xbox Series S. The Series S version will be 30 frames per second. And obviously on PC, the performance can go higher, and that is really going to be up to whatever hardware that you do have supporting the game. Surprisingly, there hasn't been an in-depth specification on the system requirements for the game, at least not on the official Epic Games Store page, which, speaking of which, this game is an Epic Games Store exclusive. The game is being published by Epic Games Store, so if you are buying this game on PC, or you plan to buy this game on PC, and you're of the mindset that, hey, the game is probably going to be a timed EGS exclusive, it'll eventually come to Steam. While I don't argue it may eventually come to Steam, there's a difference with Alan Wake 2 when you talk about this PC version and it coming to Epic Games Store. This game is being published directly by Epic Games. It is not a third-party exclusivity agreement like a Final Fantasy VII Remake was, like a Dead Island 2 is, like a Metro Exodus was all those years ago. This is legit being published by Epic Games, so they have the right to put the game on whatever platform whenever they want, much like how Ubisoft does it when Ubisoft publishes a game like Assassin's Creed Mirage. It's Uplay exclusive right now, but at some point it probably will come to Steam, but that's up to Ubisoft's discretion. The same is probably the case with Alan Wake 2, so it is something to consider. On Epic Games Store, it is $49.99, so it does have that going for it. $10 cheaper than the console counterpart at $59.99. I do also want to note that there is a deluxe edition for the game. The deluxe edition on PC will be $69.99, while on consoles it is $79.99. Now, I often meme about deluxe editions and special editions. However, this one is fairly notable. The deluxe edition gets you the Alan Wake 2 base game, the pre-order content, the expansion pass, which is the big addition, 2 major story expansions, Crimson Windbreaker for Saga, Celebrity Suit for Alan, the Shotgun Skin for Alan, and Lantern Charm for Saga. All of that will be $79.99. The main caveat, obviously, being the expansion pass being included with the deluxe edition that will add story-based DLC. Not only that, while there will be paid story DLC on the expansion pass, there will also be free DLC that was noted to be fairly substantial, so that is something that you can look forward to post-launch as well. Obviously, one final thing to note, this has been a big talking point with the release of Alan Wake 2. The game will not be getting a physical release. There's a lot of things said about this. THQ Nordic wanted to come in and handle the publishing of the physical release. That won't be happening, at least not anytime soon. Come release day on October the 27th, it will be digital only. That includes digital only on the Epic Games Store as an EGS exclusive, but also digital only on PlayStation Store as well as Xbox Series X and S. There will be no physical version released at this point. They gave reasoning such as keeping the price of the game down, keeping development costs down, etc., etc. Ultimately, if you really look at the landscape, you could have easily handed over the publishing rights for a physical copy to a THQ Nordic, and you probably could have gotten done, and it would have been something easy to do, at least I would think. It's a little above my pay grade, so I don't know for sure, but I think it would do fairly well from a physical standpoint. Really, this is going to be a case study as far as how good can a AAA game do for going a physical release entirely. You do hear a lot of pushback on social media, but a lot of times that pushback is from a vocal minority. Will that translate to actual commercial numbers? That's something we'll find out in the coming months when we actually see how this game performs. So that'll be a very interesting thing to monitor, but a real big bummer that there will be no physical release for this game, and really the first of its kind as far as a big budget AAA title skipping out on a physical release entirely. As far as the length of the game goes, given that that was a big talking point of the first Alan Wake, and really probably one of the reasons it wasn't a commercial juggernaut, given that it was a $60 game and only around 8 to 10 hours long, maybe even shorter than that. DLC obviously made it a little bit longer. As far as Alan Wake 2 goes, it will be an over 20-hour campaign, as noted during an interview with WCCF Tech. The devs behind Alan Wake 2 revealed that the game will be over 20 hours. Obviously, you do have 2 campaigns, so you would think each campaign would be around 10 hours, and obviously, depending on your playstyle, difficulty, etc., time you spend kind of taking in the game, that time is going to vary a little little bit, but 20 hours as far as a rough estimate goes, which is a nice upgrade from Alan Wake 1 to say the least, and with the DLC content coming out, that is going to make the game a little bit lengthier if you do buy the deluxe edition. And also on top of that, you got free DLC coming out, so that should lengthen the game a little bit as well. But that'll do it for me. Again, Alan Wake 2, one of the hotly anticipated games of the year, coming out at a time with so many other big games. When you look at Spider-Man 2, Ghost Runner 2, Lords of the Fallen just came out, Assassin's Creed Mirage. October's been a crazy month, and it is ending with a bang with a release of a game, a sequel that has been, again, 13 years in the making. So exciting to see it finally come out. That's going to do it for me. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.